What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Jose Show. Happy Thursday. I hope that everyone is enjoying their day. But anyways, let's get into the hot tea, shall we? Because the tea is better than ever. Now let's talk about Portia de Rossi and Ellen DeGeneres. So Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi have moved out of the U.S. and Donald Trump's election win was the driving force, TMZ has learned. So sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ Ellen and Portia have settled in a new home in the Cotswolds, a region in southwest England about 2 hours from London. So TMZ was told the couple scooped up the place before the election, but were very delusional with Trump's victory, and as one source put it, they immediately decided to get the hell out. So, Ellen was among the high-profile donors for Vice President Harris, cutting a $3,300 check for her. She also endorsed Harris on social media after the VP was tapped to replace President Joe Biden on the ticket back in July. Okay, so the former talk show personality wrote at the time, "There's nothing more powerful than a woman whose time has come. I can't wait for Kamala Harris to be our next president." So, Ellen and Portia clearly mean business, and TMZ was told the couple plans to list their house in Montecito, California, where they previously sold their other mansion for a whopping $96 million. Okay, so Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi are mulling over how much they're going to ask, and when they decide, we're told they will list the property. Now, while Ellen isn't the first celebrity to threaten to move amid a Trump victory, she's one of the few to actually make good on her promise. Okay, so this is really insane that Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi have moved out of the United States, because I wasn't expecting for the both of them to move out, since a lot of celebrities have said that they want to move out of the US because of Trump's victory, and they never move out. Especially because I remember that back in 2016, when Trump got elected, when he won over Hillary Clinton, a lot of celebrities said the same thing, and none of them moved out of the US, as far as what I know. But I do think that over in England, Portia and Ellen are going to have a better life, because I did hear that England has better laws, and England is way nicer than the US. And of course, England has beautiful traditions and this and that, the both of them can look into. And I myself would do the same thing if I were to have all of the money of the world to move out of this freaking country and move into England, especially. Because here's the thing. Now that Trump is going to be our next president, I am afraid that this country is going to be even more divided than it already is. Because what this man does is he just encourages a bunch of hate, a bunch of racism, a bunch of misogyny, and a bunch of stupidity. And I am so freaking fed up with that man, especially because let's remember that he already did all of that a few years ago when he was our president, and man, was this country super divided. But I mean, anyways, now this country is still divided, but yet it's not as divided now that Joe Biden is our president, because I feel like Joe Biden is an actual leader. He's an actual good president. He's actually somebody that actually knows how to control the nation well. And it really sucks that unfortunately he's not going to continue on with this term, because unfortunately he stepped down from the race back in July, leading the way to Kamala Harris, which unfortunately lost back in November 5th to freaking Donald Trump. But anywho, I really am wishing a lot of luck. I'm wishing a lot of peace for our country for the next 4 years, that this freaking man is going to be our president, unfortunately. And also, last but not least, peace on earth, ladies and gentlemen. We need it, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot get so negative. We cannot get so exhausted. We can't get into a bunch of anxiety, I mean, to those of us especially that do not have the money to move out of the freaking country, like Portia and Ellen DeGeneres, we should just calm down, read a book, go to a spa, go to a gym, make new friends, enjoy the holidays that are coming up really soon. And let's just ignore what this man is going to be telling us, and ignore what this man is going to be doing for the next 4 years. And by ignore, I mean not let it get to us. That's what I'm trying to say, because I mean that's the best thing that we can do, So anywho, let's just see who's going to be next in the list of celebrities on who's going to be moving out of this country, because honestly, I can already tell that maybe there's going to be more celebrities that are going to lead Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi's footsteps, that's for sure. Because if there's one thing that celebrities do is when they see, they do as well. And when they see, they get motivated. So that's for sure. Maybe Oprah might be the next one that will move out of the country too. Who knows? Because I know that Oprah Chopra was one of Kamala Harris's supporters and one of her biggest supporters especially. So there's also that. And maybe even Steve Harvey might move out of the country too. Who knows? Maybe even Ryan Seacrest. Maybe even, I don't know, Sherry Shepherd. Maybe even Raven Simone. Maybe even Lindsay Lohan. I don't know. I'm just making guesses here. I'm not saying that I'm confirming anything, okay? So, anywho, on to the next topic. So remember when Jussie Smollett was in trouble a few years ago for pretending to be in a fight? Well, Jussie Smollett's conviction in the hate crime hoax case is now reversed and he cannot be tried again, according to the Illinois Supreme Court. So Illinois' High Court ruled Thursday that Jussie's deal with Cook County prosecutors when they originally dropped the case against him had to be honored. State's attorney Kim Foxx struck a plea deal with the actor requiring him to forfeit his $10,000 bond and do 15 hours of volunteer community service. So the court's ruling says because Jussie held up his end of the deal, he actually did 18 hours of service. He should not have been subject to a second prosecution. That's when he was convicted of felony disorderly conduct and sent to jail briefly until he appealed the decision. Okay, so he had been sentenced to 30 months probation with the first 150 days to be served in Cook County Jail. And you'll recall Jussie made an emotional and defiant exit as the bailiff took him out of the court following his conviction. So in its ruling, the Illinois Supreme Court said, "Today, we resolve a question about the state's responsibility to honor the agreements it makes with defendants. In its decision, the court said simply the state is bound by the agreement." Okay, so Nenye Uche tells TMZ this was not a prosecution based on facts, rather it was a vindictive persecution, and such a proceeding has no place in our criminal justice system. Ultimately, we are pleased that the rule of the law was the big winner today. All right. So Uche thinks the case was swayed by popular opinion, but prosecutions should be based on facts. The public wanted Jussie convicted and was not interested in reasonable doubts. Uche notes celebs and other well-known people face an uphill battle in court nowadays. So it's worth noting the Supreme Court did not weigh in on the merits of the actual case against Jussie and instead only focused on the deal prosecutors struck with him. Okay, so anywho, as of 10:05 in the morning, our time, Special Prosecutor Dan K. Webb has issued a statement saying he's disappointed with the Illinois Supreme Court decision and respectfully disagrees with overturning Jussie Smollett's criminal conviction. Webb made it clear the court's decision has nothing to do with Jussie Smollett's guilt or innocence, and he categorically believes Smollett is guilty of perpetrating a hate crime hoax against the city of Chicago. Okay, so anyways, he also pointed out the court's ruling had nothing to do with his 2 years of work on the case because he was appointed to his special prosecution role 5 months after Cook County DA Kim Foxx made the plea deal with Smollett. Okay, so this is really insane. I personally believe that Jussie Smollett's hate crime hoax really should be something to look at because I do think that Jussie Smollett was messing around with the law and he was making fun of the law with what he did because he basically was fooling around with the cops and then making the cops think that Jussie Smollett was the victim of a hate crime when in reality it was all a freaking joke. And I do think that he was also wasting law enforcement's time as well because law enforcement was busy trying to handle justice when in reality they weren't handling anything. They were just handling a joke when throughout that whole entire time what law enforcement should have done and would have done was actually handle an actual true crime. So there's a reason to why Jussie Smollett got in trouble in the first place, and that is something that the court, I'm sure, didn't really look into, which is why they went off and they ended up overturning Jussie Smollett's case. And I do personally think that the reason to why this courthouse ended up overturning Jussie Smollett's case is because they might have felt bad for poor Jussie Smollett because Jussie Smollett is a star from Hollywood. And of course, he apparently has been having the sad face throughout the past 4 or 5 years that he's been in trouble with the whole entire situation. And they were like, okay, let's give him a break and this and that. And it's just so darn ridiculous. But if this guy were to not be Justice Smollett, I'm sure that this guy would have still been held accountable for his own damn actions, because I believe that in the world that we live in, unfortunately, justice isn't really justice. Unfortunately, the justice system is still, more siding towards celebrities than they are siding towards the people in general. That's how I'm seeing it here as far as what I'm seeing with this whole entire case. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the near future, the courthouse gets to be overturning this whole entire case once again, and they end up changing their mind, and they're all like, oh my God, well, never mind. This guy should be held accountable for what he did. This is just not good at all. And this is just so a huge mock for us and the justice system. I mean, that's just what I think. But anywho, this is just insane, and I really, really think that now that this happened, this is going to motivate a lot more people to do the same thing that Justice Smollett did, end up pretending to be in a hate crime, because then they're going to be like, okay, well, if Justice Smollett was able to get away with it, then we're going to be able to get away with it too. Okay. Oh well, but on to the next topic. So let's talk about Matt Gaetz. So Matt Gaetz is withdrawing from Attorney General nomination, and he was becoming a distraction according to him. So it's back to the drawing board for President-elect Donald Trump. He's got to nominate someone else for U.S. Attorney General after his first choice, Matt Gaetz, withdrew his name today. So the former congressman from Florida just announced on X he is pulling out of consideration to become Trump's attorney general. And Gaetz says, while the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump/Vance transition. There is no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as attorney general. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. Okay, so the move comes the day after Gaetz says they met with a group of senators who he says offered thoughtful feedback. Okay, so Gaetz faced obstacles to his confirmation. He's been dodged by sexual misconduct allegations, including claims he allegedly paid women for sex and had sex with a minor. Okay, so for his part, Gaetz has denied the allegations, and he has not been criminally charged, as the Justice Department decided against doing so. So a Congressional Ethics Committee report was scheduled to be released this month, but Gaetz resigned from Congress after Trump nominated him for Attorney General, and now it's unclear if the report will be released. All right, so anyways, despite passing on the opportunity to join Trump's cabinet, Gaetz says, I remain fully committed to see that Donald J. Trump is the most successful president in history. I will forever be honored that President Trump nominated me to lead the Department of Justice, and I'm certain he will save America, according to him. Okay, so this is really insane. I think that this is actually even funny that Matt Gaetz decided to withdraw his name from being the nominee for Attorney General, because this just comes to show that even Matt Gaetz is sick of his shit. Like, Matt Gaetz is over here saying that Trump will save America and that Trump is the hero and this and that, but I'm sure he's just saying it just to make himself look good and just to make himself, sound like he is the guy that isn't talking shit, especially when in reality, I'm sure that deep down he is not happy that he was chosen by this crazy man to be the Attorney General nominee, because let's be honest, the man first and foremost is just so freaking cuckoo, and by cuckoo I mean lunatic. And also, let's be honest, Trump basically did choose Matt Gaetz to be the distraction of the whole entire political party by getting chosen to be the nominee, because honestly, Matt Gaetz, as we all know, is super well known. I mean, his name has been all over the place these past several years, especially for the stupid stuff that he is being accused of, which could be true, by the way, that he could be the sexual predator and this and that. I don't know. And it's that really distracted a bunch of people to be like, oh my God, so this big name is going to be the lead of Attorney General, and he's going to be, the one that's going to be in charge of the justice, and he's going to be the one in charge of this and that. But at the same time, I do think that it was also very stupid of Trump to be choosing him to be the nominee of the lead of criminal justice, basically, because I mean, if Matt Gaetz himself is already being accused of sexual misconduct and of having sex with a minor and basically prostituting himself with a woman, then why have him be the lead of a criminal justice system? Okay, why have a corrupt person be the lead of a justice system? Okay, I mean, if you're going to be having somebody like that lead the justice system, then basically you're having that justice system get thrown down to the freaking toilet, because basically what this person would do is destroy the justice system. Okay, so that's that as far as what I'm hearing here from Matt Gaetz. So I don't know in what world this man is living in, and by this man I mean Trump is living in, by choosing all these people, especially wanting to choose Matt Gaetz to be in the justice system. And I mean, it's not just him that he got to, that he tried to choose. He also chose this one woman that I believe is a billionaire wrestler to be the head of education, I believe, not so long ago, which to me was also really stupid and really insane because, I mean, why have somebody that is in charge of wrestling and that is known for being a wrestler to be in charge of the head of Department of Education when the woman don't know shit about education? She just knows shit about wrestling. Like, what in the world is going on here? Like, what's next? Is Trump gonna elect or choose Kim Kardashian to be the Secretary of State? Is he gonna choose, I don't know, Stormy Daniels to be the Secretary of State? I mean, that's how ridiculous and that's how low this man is getting with what he's choosing. So I don't know, but this is really to blame on all the Trump supporters that voted for him. That's all I got to say. Oh Lord, our country is turning into a joke. It's turning into a joke. I'm sorry, and this is sad. But anyways, on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Tina Turner and Cher. So Tina Turner once turned to Cher for advice on how to escape her abusive marriage to Ike Turner, the Believe icon spills in her memoir. So in Cher, the memoir part 1, the singer explains the Turners appeared twice on her TV show she launched following her tumultuous Sonny Bono breakup, and during one backstage chat in April of 1975, Tina straight up asked her, "Tell me how you left him." So anyways, Cher revealed Tina's raw question came after she showed up in her dressing room needing help to cover a bruise on her arm. And while helping her, Cher wrote, "I looked at her and told her I just walked out and kept going." Okay, so Cher said Tina's plea took her back to when she called Lucille Ball for advice on leaving Sonny, citing Lucy as someone who had been through it too, leaving her husband, Desi Arnaz. So anyways, Tina eventually filed for divorce from Ike in 1976. A year later, she later opened up about their abusive relationship in her 1986 memoir, I, Tina, and her 2018 book, Tina Turner, My Love Story. Okay, so this is really cool that Cher basically gave advice towards Tina Turner on the whole entire marriage situation, because I believe that Cher is a very helpful and a very kind human being that really cares for others. And I believe that Tina Turner needed somebody to give her advice because of the fact that Tina Turner, I mean, unfortunately, she went through an abusive marriage with that Ike Turner guy. I mean, the man hit her, the man got to be so narcissistic towards her, the man insulted her, the man did whatever the hell he wanted with poor Tina Turner, that Tina Turner ended up crazy, man, out of that damn marriage. I mean, I just thank God that Tina Turner was able to divorce that freaking cuckoo. But it's just, you know, something that really taught Tina Turner a lesson after all, because she was like, you know what? I can do better than this. I am a smart woman and I can find myself a better man in my life, or I can just succeed on my own in my life and not need a man at all. And I believe that this whole entire divorce situation, I believe, happened because of the fact that Tina Turner was basically listening to Cher's advice because, like I said, Cher is very helpful. And by the way, Cher and Tina Turner, I believe, were around that same era of artists that got to grow up together and they got to, know each other and they got to, be there for one another, especially because, Cher, I believe, is like in her 70s, and Tina Turner, may she rest in peace, she was in her 80s when she passed away a few years ago. So, that's not that much of an age difference right there. And, as women that were around each other's age, they were able to really connect really well on their situations and on what was really going on with them in order to help each other out. And that's exactly what the case was in between Cher and Tina Turner. And by the way, I believe that Tina basically was smart enough to ask Cher, about basically how Cher broke up with her boo, because basically Tina since she was going through an abusive marriage at the time, Tina was all like, what, I need to know what is the recipe, what is the thing, what is the solution to get out of a relationship in order for me to get out of mine, so that way I can be able to live free, and what was also smart too was, she was, working with Cher as well. And, Tina was, happy to work with Cher because, of course, Cher, of course, is a singer. And, of course, Tina Turner, of course, was also a singer. And they both, I believe, got to collab in a few stuff here and there. So, that really made their friendship even closer than ever. And it made it really iconic, and it made it really important too, after all, which is, a sign of goodness, a sign of peace, a sign of, okay, this right here, Tina Turner, is my ride or die. This right here is my girl. Cher, she is also my ride or die. That's basically how the relationship was. So, anywho, this is definitely very sad, though, that Tina Turner had to go through such a horrible marriage after all. And of course, it's literally a really good example to so many women out there that have gone through a horrible marriage and that are going through a horrible marriage after all, where men are beating them up and men are treating them like crap and men are basically controlling their lives and are making them feel like they are a pile of garbage, when in reality it's the men that treat them like crap that are a pile of garbage after all. And that, these women are basically on time to leave those marriages and move on with their own damn lives and be friends with good people that will give them good advice and that will be able to survive, help them survive in life, especially because, that's what friends are for after all. So that's exactly what this whole entire case is here. And I'm actually happy, by the way, that this memoir is now out, so that way a lot of women can actually read it. And it's not just women out there that are victims of abusive relationships. It's even men out there that are victims of abusive relationships, because unfortunately, let's remember that even men have gone through a situation where women are treating them like crap and women are controlling them and women are doing this and that towards them. And then men are like, oh my God, well, what do I do now? This is just crazy. This is just insane, especially when they're in a situation where, women unpurposely get themselves pregnant because, they want to be stuck with that man and they force that man to be with them, and then they're like, oh my God, well, I got her pregnant. Now what do I do in order to get out of this relationship? This is just bad. So there's also that too, there's also that too. It's insane, man. It's so insane. I just don't know when on earth, there's going to be love and serenity in a couple, like more often. That's what I'm trying to say. Because as far as what I'm hearing, I feel like nowadays, like, it's more common to hear that a couple does not get along with each other and that they actually aren't there for each other and that they actually think that it's normal to mistreat one another and to disrespect one another just because they're a couple. You know, it's not good. And then that's when the things escalate. And that's even worse. So that's how the abuse happens, unfortunately. So we have to be smart, y'all. We have to be smart. And we have to think like Tina Turner and be like, you know what, screw it. We need to get out of this relationship ASAP. And we also need to think like Cher too, because Cher, like I just said right now, she went through a situation like that too. And she ended up getting out of the relationship just like that as well. So anyways, with that being said, that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's lovely episode of The Jose Show. Till next time, and peace.